What do they say? It's your first make a meeting.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, August 26, 2024 to order. I ask all who have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices, and please conduct any private conversations in the hallway or outside. Emergency exits can be found to your right and to your left. This meeting is also live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available for the public. So at this time, if you please join the town board in the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcements here. I want to wish to declare necessarily absent this evening Town Board Member Mike Guinan. We have 8 employees celebrating birthdays of the month of September. We'll start with Mr. Greg Knapp on the 2nd, Amanda Curry on the 3rd, Casey Page on the 5th, Debbie Triad and Steve Hendrickson on the 13th, Tom Pasanelli on the 20th, and Joanne Henry on the 25th, and Stacy Preston on the 29th. So happy birthday to those 8 town employees. And again, I'm sure Councilman Cusimano will get into it a little more, but again, on the 14th of September is the big Climb Aboard and Hometown Days event here in the village. Labor Day on September 2nd, all town facilities will be closed, and school reopens on Wednesday, September the 4th. Please drive carefully around the school's campus, and please be aware of school buses stopping to pick up students. So, approval of meeting minutes. First one would be the July 22nd Town Board meeting. I know we had a couple absent members. I don't know if they've read the meeting minutes, considered voting, or not.
I think both Alexis and I were gone, so we'll have to abstain on that. We might have to vote on that next meeting on the 22nd.
Yeah, I watched the meeting, but I think there was a part where the mic wasn't working for someone who was speaking in the audience, so I can't really, I don't know if I don't feel comfortable voting for it because I haven't,
Okay.
I couldn't hear that part.
Thank you for considering. Moving to the approval of minutes for the August 12th pay bills only meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And when our clerk is ready, we'll ask her to introduce manifest number 16 for your consideration.
Manifest number 16 in the amount of $580,215.81 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged: General Townwide, General Outside Village, Parkland Trust Fund, Highway Townwide, the lighting districts of Fishers, Brookwood Meadows, High Point, Cobblestone, Coil Ridge, Rolling Meadows, Stone Lay, and Legacy at the Fairways, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you, Karen. So up on the big screen, you'll see items that have been identified that are in the $5,000 range or exceed it. And we'll start with payment number 1 to Accent Striping for road striping. Payment to Bluestone Creek, September rent, Parks and Rec. Payment to D. Clark Distributors, road project materials. Payment to Daxco Pipeline, final pump station number 7 payment. Payment to Five Star for July townwide visa charges. Heidelberg Materials for road projects. Hometown Energy, unleaded fuel for the month of July. Integrated Systems, software renewals. Payment to Labello Associates, professional services. There are chargebacks to developers within this invoice. Payment to MVP Health for September health insurance. Payment to the New York State Comptroller's Office for May court fees collected. Payment to NOCO Energy, diesel fuel for July. Payment to RG&E, July townwide utilities. and payment to Villager Construction for various road projects. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $501,968.45. Total town expenditures minus the previous mentioned expenditures equals $78,247.36. Board members, any question on this evening's abstract?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Moving to privilege of the floor, we'll start off with Mr. Sean Kennedy.
Good evening. So my name's Sean Kennedy. I've been working through the process to try and install a fence in my yard, looking at a 6-foot vinyl fence. I do have a Town of Victor drainage easement that kind of divides my backyard in half. I've worked through the zoning board process and received a variance to allow me to place the fence in the easement with a few conditions. One of those conditions being the installation of 10-foot fences, or 10-foot gates, on either side to hopefully simplify the process if the town does need to make access. And then the other would be entering into a hold harmless agreement or obtaining a hold harmless agreement from the town. So in the event that you did need to remove fencing to gain access, that would relieve you guys from liability. And I understand that I would assume any cost of repairs, if that was the case.
Well, thank you, Sean. Yes, and also in addition, I think if we move forward, there's filing fees and attorney fees as well that you would be responsible for.
Yes, sir.
I do want to commend our highway superintendent and staff members within the building and planning department for writing a memo to the town board on their thoughts. I do appreciate certainly your appearance here tonight. Myself, I do not have an objection to this. I do not object myself. So, board members, your thoughts?
I as well, I mean, I'm not a fan of easements or hold harmless agreements in general. Not really because of you, but because of maybe the next owner. Sometimes they don't understand what they're getting into. But I do think that Mark and Keith did a nice job. And you've probably got the same letter about you mentioned the 10-foot fences. So they could get in there. But I would have no issue with this either. The one thing, Keith, it says town staff members should be allowed access. That's not to hang around at the pool, though, if he puts one in. All right, it's just to get in there, check on the drainage, so. I have
Thank
no
you.
issue.
And I guess the only other thing I would say, Sean, is, again, our challenge is, and I think probably why they crafted the letter is also, down the road, you decide to sell,
Sure.
the next homeowner. Well, this wasn't my agreement, that type of thing, so. Any other thoughts for Sean?
I know I wasn't sure if you'd seen this memo because it was to us, or if they mentioned it too, because you mentioned the 10-foot, the two 10-foot gates. But it looks like they also recommended if a pool is installed in the backyard, a separate fence must be erected around the pool that meets New York State guidelines for a pool barrier. Okay,
Correct.
I just want to make sure you're okay with it. Yeah, if you don't see a problem with it, I have one of these for my fence in the village, so I'm all right.
And I will recuse myself as I'm a colleague of Mr. Kennedy's in our full-time line of work.
So you're hanging around the pool then, so you're saying?
Yeah, he'll be hanging around
I
the
hope
pool.
there's a pool, I don't know.
Well, Sean, I think you got the green light here to proceed.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Miss Jennifer Brown.
No. My name is Jennifer Brown, and I live at 7722 County Road 42. I am looking to install a fence, a 6-foot wooden picket fence through a conservation easement. I had requested that I wanted to do this in order to be able to start growing food. And I went ahead and met with the Conservation Board and presented to them. They also came and did a site walk on the property, and they recommended modifying the language to the existing conservation easement that was there. And so now I'm here before you with that amended conservation easement, I believe.
And thank you, Jennifer, and again, kudos to Adam and Keith, your staff, putting a memo together for us, and also I forgot to first go around to say something, but kudos to our Conservation Board as well for doing some site walks when need be, but certainly debating this and discussing this at the recent meeting, so. Again, I won't take the lead this time. I will ask, we'll start with our recusing town board member.
Yep, I don't work with Drew, so he
Yeah,
can
well,
comment.
now he's going to earn his double pay now. He's
So I
going to
was,
speak twice.
so my personal opinion, I was not able to attend that meeting. I was watching it live though, so I followed along with that conversation that was had. I also stopped over and took a look at the property and, you know, from your perspective, if that was my home and I was looking to do what you were looking to do, I think that that's a compatible use of that area, and I understand the large growth trees and the, you know, the older property there, so I think that it's a reasonable request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got nothing, I'm all for it. Good luck with gardening, because I don't have a green thumb.
Thank you.
Dave, you good?
I have no issues.
We're good, and we know our town clerk has a nice garden, and it's in the middle of a sun field, so we certainly wish the best for you as well, so, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Gerber Homes.
Good evening, John Graziosi, Gerber Homes, and here with me tonight is Scott DeHollander, the original design engineer for the development, and Holly Hall and Joanne Siebert, our clients who are hopefully going to move into a nice new house on Lot 3 of our Scout Path subdivision. We did attend the recent Conservation Board meeting and presented a swap of some conservation land. I'm not sure if you have a copy of the map. I brought one with me. We're looking to have the southern portion of the conservation easement swapped with more conservation easement in the back of the property. The back of the property has a drainage path corridor there. There's still a conservation easement that will remain between the two properties. The Conservation Board did recommend at the meeting to the town board to I guess, allow the swap of the land. We have started a new home on the site. There was a little bit of a surveying issue that started the issue, and we're not in the conservation easement with the new home, but by allowing us to swap some of the conservation area, we'll be able to grade per the town 1-on-3 standard. So without the relief, we would not be able to meet that requirement.
So, and again, so my first point is, I appreciate, coming before us and this, following this process. It was disappointing when it was brought to my attention that I think we first had a field change come in, and then the ball wasn't handed off, however we want to term it, and and this may be a little strong, and I'm not saying, come back and beg for forgiveness after the fact, but certainly, I know you continue to build here, want you to continue to build here, but we just don't want to go down this road again. What are we doing is there were some damaged trees in the easement area. Is there anything going to be done as far as those, or have they been?
So with the plan, the proposed conservation changes, that the conservation easement that's along the side of the home where some of the fill dirt is damaging the trees or against the trees, that area would be removed from the conservation easement, and the area in the back of the property would be enhanced in the conservation easement. So the trees that are damaged currently would be removed to allow the grading to conform with the town requirements for grading. And so there won't be any damaged trees in what's, going to be the new conservation easement, conservation area.
Question answered, thank you. Board members' feedback?
I got nothing.
No, I agree. Excuse me. I agree, Supervisor, kind of with your comments. These are tough situations because you have something underway, and you look at the what are the options, and unfortunately, this is a needed action to continue with this. So I would just echo what you're saying, and
It's hard when, actions are, a lot of times actions have already been done, right? And we've had a couple of issues this year where, folks thought they were doing it the right way, and it wasn't necessarily the right way, and then we're caught, trees have been taken down or whatever, and it's uncomfortable, and it's, like you say, like Supervisor Marion says, we want you guys to continue to build here and do that, but it's, it's hard. I mean, I don't have any issues to this. I think the swap makes sense, obviously, but I wish that we didn't have to do that, but I have no
Have you
issues.
spoken to the neighbors?
Spoken to at least one of the neighbors who has been out on site regularly as we're building the house. So there's still a large swath of trees between the two homes, but I haven't walked around and touched base with everybody now. I don't think there's any concerns. I mean, everybody knows there's a big stop work order on front of the site. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been, we've been in front of the boards, there's been public notice. So I don't think there's any concerns. We're not affecting anybody's property.
Okay, that's all.
yeah, Supervisor, we've talked about the concerning component, but I think that the land swap is,
You're fine.
I think it's something that would be necessary and appropriate to do under the set of circumstances that we have now.
Okay, so we'll move forward with the swap, and I think, again, there may be filing fees and attorney fees incurred that be responsible for.
Yep. We appreciate your consideration, and we do apologize for this happening. I mean, it was very unfortunate, and, we're disappointed that it happened, and we do hire professionals to help us do this, and
Okay, thanks for your attendance here this evening as well.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment, we'll start with SIT. Do we have anyone on YouTube? Okay, opportunity for members of the public to address the town board.
Oh.
Okay. Moving to reports of town officials in your packet. A report from our highway superintendent. IT. I know, Susie, I just wanted to point out, so Susie's in the process of doing this MFA-Duo implementation for all users, and I will tell you, so now when I get onto, or attempt to get onto my desktop, then I get a message sent to my phone, so it's really prevents unauthorized personnel from accessing town desktops and laptops and things like that. So Susie, well done. And then in addition is Parks and Recreation, and my understanding, a successful bike festival this past weekend. Very good. Okay, I left in your boxes a letter. This came from, it was actually from the RG&E, and it was the gas, but this has to do with a Farmington project, but this is what we're hearing. We haven't, to date, I don't think we've had any of our developers notified. Well, I take that back. We did have one notify the other day that wants to put in some charging stations, and their request is $4 million. This letter says that RG&E is looking for $1 million. So this is my understanding. It's we know they, I think, turned down on rates, and I know, Steve, you sent me some information in your team, and it looks like certainly rates were turned down. And this is an opportunity to maybe get some developers to pay these type of money, or certainly for us, my opinion, to make enough noise that we have others. And I know Senator Helming's involved with this. Farmington Town Supervisor reached out to her as well. So more to follow on this as we proceed. I also put a letter from the food cupboard in there. There's a report from the Boughton Park Commission. This is trail counter data up until August 8th of this year. And then in there is a, from Hunt Commercial Real Estate, it's the Victory Hills Golf Course. That's in there for you to read. So that's in your mailboxes. And real quick, I have a robust list. And I'll start with, I did attend a Village Cemetery recognition of two longtime champions of this cemetery. Back on August 16th, I presented two certificates of appreciation, one to Diane Park and the other to Bonnie Waters. Unfortunately, Bonnie was unable to make it. A bench was purchased and placed along with a marker honoring their commitment to the preservation of this cemetery. County Road 9 speed limit petition update. A traffic consultant from LaBelle Associates is crafting a template for letters of support from our state legislators to the New York DOT. And actually, Drew and I did receive a response from him earlier today, and I know Drew's been back and forth. So it's our intention, hopefully, by maybe the first meeting of September, if not the very least the second meeting, to have everything in place to put together a packet that will go with our speed reduction petition resolution. Earlier today, it's just many of my colleagues around the county, they're lucky if they do a couple ribbon cuttings in a year, and I actually had two in one day. The first one was with the Bank on Buffalo. This is it's a Rochester Smart Center at 235 High Street Extension, and this is the first. They've opened 8 of them, I think, it's in the Buffalo area. And this is the first in Rochester, so we're extremely happy about that. The second one was Rochester Regional Health opening up a new facility in the former Pier 1 location at 140 Cobblestone Court. And the second meeting, at the September 9th Town Board meeting, we'll have a resolution for our consideration regarding expiring consultant contracts that we have spoken about previously. The ZBA meeting on August the 19th, the board denied an extension of time for the Galacy project. And then back on the 15th of August, Rich and I and Tina met with Jennifer Langer. Jennifer is the purchasing director for Ontario County. And we met with her and asked about ways that maybe we could expand what we do from a procurement, more piggybacking, things like that. It was a very beneficial meeting. And Rich, I don't know if I haven't had a chance to share with you yet, but she did send out, she realized how much value there was with meeting with Victor, and then just understanding as much as we're farther ahead than many communities, she extended the olive branch to all the communities here in Ontario County with an email. So that's just a brief update on a few things that took place in the last few weeks. Board members care to weigh in on any liaisons or meetings you've attended?
I got a question, Jack. So the Galacy project not getting an extension, does that
So,
mean they have to start all over?
correct.
Well, let me just clarify, they had their building permit renewed and extended 3 times,
Right. Oh, I know that.
and they had to go back to the ZBA to get it extended again.
They
and
said
the
no.
ZBA denied it. So now they need to go back to the Victor Planning Board to get their site plan reapproved.
Okay, that's what I thought it meant.
So, we'll see. In the village, I'm not sure, I think they had extended them last summer, but I may be off on that.
There might be some sewer available then, right now.
Me?
No comment. But thank you. I think that's an excellent point. Okay, thank you for your question. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just had a few quick things. For Brian, that bike event, I was working in my other job there for the second day. I gave it the college try of getting through the entire course on a UTV. Not easy. The course was a wonderful bike course. It was, really dynamic, and it was, I saw about 80% of it on a UTV, and it was awesome. So that was very cool to see that. A quick thing on the climate board. I know we had our planning meeting today, September 14th, 10 to 4 over in the village. Currently, we are at 70 big truck exhibits and about 100 vendors, 15 food options. We got a kids train ride and all kinds of live fire demos, activities, games. There's like fundraisers. The previous 2 years, I had hosted the fundraiser as a singular event fundraiser to transfer some of the workload into actually organizing a larger event. We handed it off to a lot of the vendors, and we have, I would say we probably have 10 different local community groups hosting all kinds of different, selling raffle tickets, selling tickets to events, collecting donations, selling hot dogs to make some money. So all kinds of different fundraiser stuff going on. So it should be another very successful event. And then just a quick note, not from the last meeting, but the previous Conservation Board meeting, they had a discussion about Piper Meadow with some, I don't know if you guys have seen the info on that, but with the removal of some trees in the conservation easement, that whole development has a tree line that runs pretty close to the backs of those properties. And, discussion on how do you penalize somebody for breaking that conservation easement. And I think where it currently stands, if I understand it correctly, is there was a consideration of whether it's a monetary fine or a replacement plan to do some replanting and create what was intended to be of that conservation easement. And it sounds like, from what I understand it to be, it'll be that second one where they come up with a plan for what, the types and quantities of things that need to be planted in that area. So just to bring that to light, and I know over the last year or so, we've dealt as well with a couple of those things where people are entering into those easements, and it's tough because when it's retrospective, how do you can't replant 50-foot trees, but it's just something to be aware of,
Well, I agree with that, and I think the plan needs to be those 3-inch trunks, 4-inch trunks, I'm getting tired of when they knock down a 50-foot tree and they go in there and they put up a couple of pines thinking that, we're okay with that or whatever. So I agree with you. I mean, I think the penalty needs to fit the crime. And those nicer trees are a little bit more expensive, but I think that there needs to be some teeth in it.
Yeah.
And the other comment I was going to make, I think the advertising for September 14th has been outstanding. In fact, I think I did see a sign at the border, went up to Canada last week, so I think your extension of the signage has been outstanding, so.
Yeah, well, I did a full 8-hour day. Yeah, and I've only seen 2 places that have removed my signs, one of which was the entrance at the school, so I'm going to go up there and find out what's going on.
Give me one tonight, I'll put it up there in the morning.
No, I think I've heard a lot of feedback that I think that grassroots kind of putting signs out, you can spend, we looked at spending at $700 for a front page ad on the penny saver type. We spent $300 on double-sided signs that went across about 8 different communities, and I hear feedback every day that they're seeing the signs.
They're 5 and 20 down at Kershaw, they're all over, it's nice.
Yeah.
And, going into Canada.
Do you anticipate we need someone for currency exchange there?
Only if we get the fee.
Exactly.
Hey, Drew, do you know when the map comes out for Hometown Day?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. There's an east side and a west side map.
Okay.
The east side map was finalized about 5 minutes before I arrived here. The west side map will be finished about 3 hours after I leave here tonight. Tomorrow morning, Gina will be sending out the social media wave of the 2 maps, and that's when I think we'll really start to hit the ground running with people seeing it across social media.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Only update, 2 updates for me. Planning board, this meeting tomorrow will be my last one as liaison, and then I think Drew, you take it over. After me,
I
right?
believe it is, yeah.
In September. And then Village at their last board meeting passed a 180-day moratorium on marijuana shops. So they're looking at their South Business District, which is where they allow them right now. I think because the brewery is now up for sale is what kind of triggered them to look more into that.
Is it within that zoned area then?
Yeah.
They created, okay.
Well, the old-
Oh, yep.
Twin Elders.
Twin Elders is up for sale.
That's second to the moratorium that they did on smoke shops, different
Yep.
moratorium.
Yeah, so they're 2 separate ones because they're classified separate, differently. Yeah. And then I believe that there was a smoke shop that was, it wasn't, officially opening. I think it was in the proposed, lease. They were working with a landlord to lease something. I believe that when the Village got word of that, that's when they thought, okay, maybe we should do a smoke shop moratorium because we're at 3 right now in the Village. That would make it 4. And I believe that since that moratorium has passed and some other things with their landlord, that they have pulled back that application. So that 4th one, I don't believe is interested in opening anymore, but doesn't mean there's not another 4th one out there. So that's all I've got.
I don't know how we sustain 3 smoke shops for a village of this size. I guess what prompts the demand for that? I don't think there's an answer. I'm just kind of curious what,
No.
Right, right. 70 miles of trail.
Well, you're not supposed to be using the product.
Hey, Drew, all
Yeah.
kidding aside, on Friday, the 13th, we're hosting the Teddy Bowl game against Canandaigua. So there'll probably be about 2,000 people going up High Street for that 7 o'clock game
Yep.
Friday night. So whether you can get signs on the campus or you line High Street with that.
I got a 6 foot by, have you seen the 6 foot by 4 foot banner I have along 96 and by the library?
seen it.
I have one of those. I got an email over to the superintendent to see if I can put something up for the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because there'll be a big crowd for that, because
Yep.
that's all for Camp Good Days,
Yep.
too.
And not that it doesn't create too much of an inconvenience as soon as Maple Ave hopefully opens up, but for that evening of the 13th at 6 PM, Adams Street will be closed. But, you know, that typically, as long as it's school and Maple are both open, that's not an inconvenience for people.
And the village has said that they believe that should be open by the first day of school.
Maple will be open.
Yeah, Maple will be.
Yeah, he's talking about Adams Street being closed, so.
Yeah.
So I know.
And
We
then-
should be all set for Big Truck Day, I hope, fingers crossed. Unless we have 2 rain dates, but I believe their rain date for paving is right before school starts.
Mayor Haddon has been a big advocate working with the undersheriff and the attorney for the county, one of the attorneys, Holly Adams, about these illegal cannabis places that are open around. So we did a set public hearing this past Thursday night. The public hearing is on the 12th of September, and he can't make it, so he asked for an opportunity to speak. So he just, he made some comments, just, so now what this will be, it'll be the legislation that will provide our sheriff's department with the clout to go in and assist and shut down these places in villages, towns, and cities. So the mayor is very appreciative of that, and he spoke of that as well. So just thought you mentioned the moratoriums, it makes sense that he's a strong advocate for this, so. Okay, resolutions. Number 1, probationary appointment of Keith Maynard. Keith, who's on a vacation day, so either your wife was too long of a time with her, and she asked you to go to town hall, but anyways, thanks for joining us here this evening.
So moved, with pleasure.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 2, authorization for the purchase of some Toro vacuum blower dump from the seat bagger for parks, a number of items, so.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, this is setting a public hearing for a code revision. And I know Adam, I think, spoke to you,
So moved.
Mike Reinhardt as well, and Adam will be here at the next meeting, correct? Okay.
Second.
I first, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
No.
She said no. Number 4, setting public hearing, proposed local law to amend chapters 211 cannabis retail dispensary overlay district.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Number 5, setting public hearing code amendment. This is the part of construction codes in uniform, New York uniform fire prevention.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Number 6.
I actually had a question about this one. In the last page, it has specify intervals, DOS suggest interval not to exceed 6 months. Do we have to put in there 6 months now, or do we wait? Do you know where I'm looking at the last page of 5? You see where I'm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I figured we probably had to do it before the public hearing, but not now when we set the public hearing.
Digesting.
Well, I mean, that's up to the building department as to how they want, you know, the time periods that they want.
Is this the one to correct this is the one to correct?
This is like the Galassi one.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Frank,
Yeah.
you noticed that you had highlighted the time limit section.
Yes, so the time limits that are on there, we just want to go back to what the Uniform State Code says. We have two other things, including being able to go to the ZBA, that we would like to remove.
I think the councilwoman's point is the code doesn't specify the time period.
Like the proposed one? Do you have it? I don't
Not in
know.
front of me, no.
I can give
So
it to you.
you'd-
I can get it up.
So Department of State suggests 6 months, not to exceed 6 months, when it becomes invalid. And they suggest 12 months, not to exceed 12 months, for expiration after they're issued. Are we suggesting we're gonna follow the state's time periods?
Yes, that
Okay.
was
We're
the
gonna
meeting
stick
we
to
had
the
with
6 and
code.
12 months.
Correct.
Okay.
That was the meeting we had with codes.
I think that the revised code provisions need to reflect that if they don't already.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that when we met,
Actually, it does say,
Yeah.
building permit shall become invalid unless the authorized work is commenced within 6 months following the date of issuance. So it's valid.
I'm pretty sure-
After the date of issuance.
So you have to get
So it is in
started,
there.
you have to get started within 6 months if you're not.
And they expire 12 months after the
Eliminated
date.
yeah, to my knowledge, this is as simple as we're removing
Yeah.
those two sentences that our code currently has, that this state code does not have, to make our town code match the state code.
Yeah, I just
If we're missing something, let me know and we'll change it, but I think we're literally, by removing those
Yeah.
two sentences,
Okay. Perfect, thank you. So we don't need to change?
No.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I think the intention here is, you know, there really was no reason for the ZBA to hear and entertain.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I just voted yes on that, so.
I want the rest of the
Yeah,
board members
right.
to understand that's what the intention.
The ZBA didn't have to do it.
Yeah, it's not, there's no
Right.
criterion on it, it should be handled by the building code.
Good?
Yep.
And from the town clerk's office, accepting a records management grant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Drumlin Section 3, Phase 3.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Snowplow agreements.
So moved.
Oh, go ahead.
I
Second.
got it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And number 9, petitioning New York State DOT, evaluate Allentown Road, and I know there was a
Change of the wording, because we were going the wrong way.
an amended one,
Right
correct?
here.
Which would,
Yep. And the board all got that today.
Yep. I got the email.
Yeah, because we were going the wrong way down Valentine. Kim like
Yeah.
denied anyway.
okay.
You gotta think
So
positive.
moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Willis Hill Estate, Phase Number 3. Letter of credit.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Highline Letter of Credit, Release Number 2.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Willow Rise, Number 2 release.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Marshall Hardy, approval of conservation easement swap.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And number 14, approval of acquisition of easements by Monroe County. This
So
is-
moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And number 15, Dorchester Park, Section 2, Phase 2.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Public comments. Susie, we'll start with you again. No comments. Mr. Nankin, it's always a pleasure seeing you.
Too kind. Thank you. My name is Dave Nankin from 1174 Chaucer. I have a couple questions in regards to the Galassi project. I know that some of the Galassi was in the village, some of it was in the town. Did they both run into the same sewage area? Because the village has their own and the town their own.
My understanding that the homes that were going to be built, 11 or 12 homes in the village, were going to go to the village's sewer treatment plant, and the portion that's in the town we're going to run over to Farmington.
Okay. So if I don't know about I understand the town starts all over, but I don't know about the village. But should they start all over again, would that open up more room in the village sewage area, perhaps to help alleviate the pressure on Bluestone down here?
I think that's a very good question. That would be left to the village officials to decide whether or not. The applicant has told me on more than one occasion that his preference would be to run it to Farmington.
Right.
So I can't answer your question. Again, village officials would answer that.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for this. Sometimes I remember to print off a few things for you.